For 30 years, he wrote letters to newspapers, to police, to television stations. He signed them all the same way: BTK, bind, torture, kill. Wichita, Kansas, January 15th, 1974. The Otero family, Joseph, Julie, and two of their children, Joey and Josephine, are found dead in their home. Joseph and Julie strangled. Joey strangled. Josephine hanged from a pipe in the basement. She was 11 years old. Police have no suspect, no motive, no leads. 3 months later, a letter arrives at the Wichita Eagle newspaper, tucked inside a mechanical engineering textbook at the public library. The writer claims responsibility for the Otero murders. He describes details only the killer could know. He asks why there has been no coverage of his work in the press, and he gives himself a name: BTK. Over the next 2 decades, BTK killed 10 people in and around Wichita: Catherine Bright, Shirley Vienne, Nancy Fox, Maureen Hedge, Vicki Wegerly, Dolores Davis. Each attack meticulously planned, each victim carefully selected. He called them his projects. Between killings, he lived an ordinary life. He had a wife, 2 children, a job as a compliance officer, enforcing local ordinances, citing residents for overgrown lawns and unleashed dogs. He was president of his church congregation. His neighbors found him unremarkable, slightly officious perhaps, the kind of man you forget the moment he leaves the room. In 1978, he wrote again, this time to a television station. How many people do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper or some national attention? He got his name. BTK became one of the most hunted unidentified killers in American history. Task forces, tip lines, thousands of leads that went nowhere. And then, in 1988, he stopped writing. The letters ceased. The killings appeared to stop. Investigators wondered if he had died, moved, been imprisoned for something unrelated. For 16 years, BTK was silent. Wichita exhaled, slowly, carefully, the way a city does when it isn't sure the danger has passed. In 2004, a true crime author published a book about the BTK case. 10 days later, a letter arrived at a local television station. He was back. Whether the book provoked him, or boredom, or something darker, he had returned. And he was prolific. Over the next several months, he sent package after package: letters, photos, a poem, a word puzzle, a driver's license belonging to one of his victims. He wanted to be remembered. He wanted credit. And then he made the mistake that ended everything. In February 2005, BTK sent investigators a floppy disk. Inside the disk's metadata, invisible to him, invisible to most people, was a single piece of information: a name. The disk had last been used at Christ Lutheran Church in Wichita. The document had been modified by a user named Dennis. Police ran the name against BTK's known profile: Dennis Rader. 60 years old, married, 2 adult children, president of Christ Lutheran Church congregation, former compliance officer. On February 25, 2005, police pulled his car over on a routine stop. He was arrested without incident. Dennis Rader pleaded guilty to 10 counts of first-degree murder. In his sentencing hearing, he described each killing in methodical detail, calmly, precisely, without apparent remorse. The courtroom sat in silence, as a man who had attended church every Sunday for decades explained how he had planned and executed the murders of 10 people across 30 years. He is currently serving 10 consecutive life sentences in a Kansas prison. His wife divorced him. His children have not spoken publicly about their father. For 30 years, he sat in church pews. He shook hands. He enforced leash laws. He sang hymns. And no one knew. BTK was caught because he couldn't stop needing to be seen. 30 years of discipline. 30 years of silence. Undone in the end, not by forensics, not by a witness, not by a tip, by a floppy disk, by his own hunger to be known. Some stories end. This one did. They're still here. Some cases close. Most don't. Subscribe, because there are more stories waiting.